All right. So I wanted to know quick answers, rapid fire questions, whatever you guys want to do. So I'm just gonna read off the question, and then whoever wants to jump in, if you guys jump on each other at the same time, that's okay. We're just gonna have some fun with this. So most coffees in a day you've had. Most
Seven.
coffees in a day. 7?
Yep.
Like 8, yeah, 8 or 9 maybe.
Ooh.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh. And do you remember the worst coffee you had and where? Don't say it, but do you remember the worst coffee you've had and where?
Yes, and it was bad. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
What is the weirdest coffee you've had? And weird can be I'll use the example coffee banana smoothie. I've had that before. So like whatever you think the weirdest coffee is, have you ever had like the weirdest coffee?
I had a raspberry version that was just, and I love raspberry, and this thing was just undrinkable. It had weird raspberry swirls. It had, I don't even know. It was the weirdest thing. Yeah, that was not pleasant, but that was probably the weirdest one I had, and it was a signature drink at this one place. So
What about you,
I had
Joe?
like a THC kind of infused coffee, which was kind of weird. Yeah.
If if you could be trapped in a horror movie, which one would you pick? Any horror movie, if you could be
Cabin
trapped
in the
in.
Woods.
nice. The Descent, because I love caves,
I
even though
love
it's
that movie.
scary.
Nice. And the scariest place you've ever visited?
Ooh. Uh, a Burger King. Uh, yeah, it was on the turnpike. I used to have my own paranormal investigation group, and I had a pipe thrown at me in the basement. It used to be a Howard Johnson's, and I got a really angry male voice on a recording that basically shouted "Die."
Oh,
That
Oh
was
my
a bit
God.
scary.
wow. Yeah, I've been in some real, uh, bad things like real life and then earthquakes and all that. So I'll kind of bypass that stuff. And I would say supernatural, scary wise, was a Lodge Hall in Wyndham, Maine, where I grew up, where I had an experience there that was
Oh, yeah.
beyond creepy. And I did recap that one in my Tales of the Three book, but that was a super, super scary event where there were footsteps overhead and I was painting the first floor. There was no way to get up to the second floor without making footprints in front of me. And I had spilled some paint, so my dad had to leave to go get more paint. So I was there alone. And yeah, somebody was running up and down the place, all over the place above me, above my head. So pretty creepy. That was scary.
Oh my God. So that ties into the next question. How many haunted houses, real or other, have you been to?
A bunch. Yeah, probably at least 10 plus, maybe 20.
Oh
Yeah,
my
probably
God.
four for me. Yeah.
That's insane. Like, and did you stay there, Paul? Like,
Well, I did the Titanic all the time. Not the Titanic.
Ooh.
Sorry, Queen Mary. Queen Mary, not the Titanic. That'd be really scary. Yeah, I did the Queen Mary is in Long Beach here, and I've never had the haunted experience, but I've taken their tours and I've spent the night many nights. It's a great getaway. Unfortunately, it's currently dry docked and you can't stay there right now. But that, and then of course being in LA, I've gone up to the Winchester House, which is really cool.
yeah,
So yeah, yeah.
very cool. So Joe, your paranormal. So you have the story of the guy who did the paranormal stuff in your in the story. Like, are you like, or wait, did I just confuse the
I was
stories?
gonna say, yeah, that was
I'm
his. Yeah.
sorry. I'm sorry. It popped into my head with the paranormal, and I was like, wait, what? But so with the paranormal, like you said, you had it a paranormal. Like, what did you do? Like, how did you do that? Like, I'm fascinated with that. I've it's kind of something that I don't know anything about.
Yeah, I had a group called the Ghost Gumshoes. I registered in Maine as a place you could actually like hire and come investigate your house if you wanted for free. Like I didn't charge anyone for it. I was just curious about it, so I went to um, I had like a photographer. I had a whole team, so I had like a photographer, someone to take like the temperature readings, and like the other person would take notes, and so we'd collaborate with all of our, quote unquote evidence, and see if, say for example, we heard a bang at a certain point of time, someone would be like, oh well, that was at X amount of time, because they're keeping track of the time, and then the other person would write down, what happened at that time, so we could, if we saw like an orb or something like that on the film at X amount of time, we could then be like, oh well, is the orb at the same time as the bang that we heard? So it's just sort of like a fun thing, because I don't think anyone really knows what ghosts are, or things like that, so I think it's fun just to sort of like investigate it yourself, just see what kind of stuff you can get out of the experience. But yeah, there's definitely some creepy stuff, and the weird cryptid one I wrote, that actually happened to me. I still don't know what that was, but I put part of it into the story. So there's all sorts of stuff out there. I don't really know what's going on, but
And would you say that like part of not knowing some of these things is kind of what draws you guys into horror? Like, does it like because there's these elements of the unknown? Is that like is that what brought you Joe and you Paul like into horror?
Yeah, I think so. For me, like I'll just isolate, say, the ghost part, because I love writing the stories in that, and that one for me is you're dealing with a character that can no longer speak for themselves, and something horrible happened, and how do you find out what happened when that person doesn't have a voice? And I think we all want a sense of justice in those instances. And that was kind of like the first story in the book, kind of deals with that a bit. So for me, that's why I feel the ghost story is timeless, because tragedy is timeless, unfortunately, and it just is the thought that people are trying to reach out from somewhere different, and it's not able to communicate in the same manner. And that to me is just so intriguing. So just isolating it to that genre of horror, I would say that's my interest in that kind of thing.
Very cool. So I know that I just stopped the rapid fire questions when we started talking about the stuff because it was kind of crazy and kind of funny, because it literally I was like, ooh, that's something new that we haven't talked about yet. So literally there was one question left of the rapid fire, so I am sorry we have lost the momentum. But so last horror movie or book you saw or read?
Halloween Ends. It was the last one I just went to. So
Oh,
yeah,
I haven't seen that one yet. That's on our list.
yeah. I slight disappointment on my side, unfortunately, but Jamie Lee Curtis, just chef's kiss. She was just the best in this, and just love her to death, and see her locally too. That's the other nice LA thing. So I do see her around, especially near Santa Monica and the LA Library and such. So yeah.
Oh, that is so cool. That is so, my cheeks are like I'm smiling so hard right now. That's freaking awesome. And then Joe, you were holding up the book.
Oh yeah, I can't. I watch movies like nonstop in the background, so I really can't remember what the last horror movie I watched was. But I'm almost done reading Joe Hill's Black Phone. I haven't watched the movie yet, but I was holding off. I saw it available to watch, and I wanted to wait till after I read this. But it's sort of an odd collection. It's really good though.
Very cool. So do you guys like talk about do you guys message each other on a regular basis, or do you guys only like message when it's like, hey, it's anthology time, what do you say we start working and collaborating again? Or like what is your guys' relationship like? How does that work?
Oh, you go for it, Joe.
Basically, we were both busy for a while and kind of lost touch, and I was going to grad school, and he was busy in his own life, so we lost touch a little bit. And then unfortunately my grandmother. His mother passed, and that's how we sort of started talking again when he came up to Maine, and that's when he pitched me the idea. But yeah, I would say that the majority of our connection comes from the professional level at the moment, anyway. But I think we're starting to talk more, and things like that, just outside of that whole thing. He got me interested in comic books and Star Wars and stuff like that. He would always give me like a free comic book, when I would go visit my grandmother. He would like let me pick from a stack, and I consider, him, he helped me kind of like learn how to read and stuff in that way, and to become interested in these things. And he kind of pushed me toward becoming a screenwriter at one point, which I really wanted to, but then Hollywood's just making like sequels and things like that and reboots. So he seems to have switched focus to writing books, and that's what I went to school for. So that's what I'm kind of doing right now as well. So it just sort of aligned, I guess. And yeah, it's been really fun.
Very cool. So if I'm going to ask you a silly question. So if I want to become a member of the Carro family, do I have to grow a beard too? You guys look like brothers, and it's because like you both have that, like, I love your guys' beard. Like I can't stop staring at your beard. Like you guys have like such a cool look. And I was like, do you guys like, are you like, I want to start growing my beard out like you?
I switched mine up because I'm cosplaying as William Butcher from The Boys coming up. I'm going to Salem this weekend, so I darkened mine a little bit, and yeah, I trimmed it a little bit to try to look more like Carl Urban's, but nobody can be Carl Urban except for Carl Urban.
Oh,
so.
yeah, his character is great. And Paul, you have like your whole chin is it's like, and like you were just saying, Joe, you've got like the little cutouts right there. Like, do these things have names? Like, are there like because I know there's like mutton chops and stuff, but like, are there different names for beards?
Yeah, I'm not sure if there is. I do know that mine is more a response to just in the fall and winter, especially. I honestly, once COVID hit, I think was when it really started, where I just let it go. And now it just reminds me of home. So it is a little bit of a back east homage, and I just kind of let it ride. And it's just makes me feel like home a little bit. So I let it be what it is, and just let it go. So yeah.
Awesome. I thought about like putting mascara on my face and like to like mess with you guys, but I was like, no, I don't want you guys to think I was like, like I didn't want it to be like I was making fun of you guys, but I genuinely do like love your appearance. I think it's like really I respect the beard. Do you guys talk about the same beard products? Do you guys share beard products now that you guys are
We
talking
haven't done
about
that
like...
yet, no.
No, add it to the list.
Did you know?
I will say though, by the way, Joe, the Black Phone movie, amazing. One of the best movies of the year. So
yeah, I want to watch it really bad.
Yeah, fantastic, honestly. So
now, Paul, do you share with Joe like inside stuff? Or are you like, hey, this is coming out, you're gonna have to check it out? Like, do you get like early notifications of the stuff before the rest of us do?
yeah, I get to a million premieres and all of that, but I generally they put you on lockdown on that stuff where you can't really talk about it, and if something slips out, you get those credentials pulled. So I generally have learned to just not say a word till until the embargo. They call them embargoes. Once they lift an embargo, you can then review it and say stuff about it publicly. So I don't even do that in private to anyone, just based on, the ability to be able to see that stuff early. I enjoy that, right? And that not right, but that gift I got. So yeah.
Very cool. And sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, no, go ahead. Sorry.
Joe, tell us about the movie you're in with Kelsey Grammer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was an interesting experience. I of course got locally popular in Mobile, Alabama, where I was for like 2 or 3 years, and some of the people following me on TikTok reached out and were like, you should try to get on this movie as an extra because they're filming. And I was like, yeah, why not? So I sent in my headshot and everything like you're supposed to. And they accepted me as I was hoping it was going to be for like one of the hippie roles because it's set in 1969. It's called Jesus Revolution. They shot in Mobile, Alabama, Fairhope, Alabama, and I can't remember where else, but I just went for one day. They wanted me back for another day, but I only had like certain time off. And had I known, you know, they were going to pay me like $200 just to sit there for a few hours, I probably would have tried to get more time off. But yeah, it was super fun. I walked into the church, not expecting to actually be in an actual scene with anybody that was in the movie. I thought maybe I would be some background like footage. And I walk into this dark church and my eyes are adjusting to all these cameras. My first time ever being in this sort of like experience. And I just see someone sitting on the floor in the front, and it's Kelsey Grammer. I was just like, what? Like, what? He's in like this like sort of crushed or to me it looked like crushed velvet suit, but maybe it was just regular suit. Yeah, he was my preacher for like 2 hours, saying the same thing over. I got to see how like, you know, they do in Hollywood or whatever, the same scene like 27 times from different angles and things like that. I saw the trailer for it and I saw the scene that I'm in the trailer, but I didn't see myself in the trailer. So I don't know if I'll actually make it into the film, but it was still a cool experience.
Very cool. So there's like this Hollywood connection between you guys. So not only do you have beards, you guys have Hollywood connections. I love it. I love it. All right. So being that you did mention volume 3 in the very beginning, do you think that you'll be doing like volume 24? Like what can we expect?
Yeah,
Ish.
well, that's my intention is to keep it going. I don't think Joe and I have really talked about, is this sustainable for the two of us, because I know it's sustainable for myself, and I know that's a weird thing as a writer that you can generate that many stories, and I don't know if that's the case with everyone. So I would like to think we're going to keep going. I don't think we've talked beyond 3, and we've only barely talked about that. But we have thought about finally, to minimize the amount of writing we're doing and to make it a little more and fall in line with their traditional anthology, is to finally bring in a few more voices, have a little more representation as well. But the only reason we've been slow to do that is I don't want the concept to fall behind the wayside. And it's so easy for me to hire an author who's literally just dusting off an old story that they did and saying they did it at a coffee shop. And so I really am working on building a level of trust with certain authors out there in the horror field right now that I would invite to partake in this, and the invitation would come with money. So, it'd obviously be a paid, project, but I want to pay for the originality and the experience. I don't want to pay for something they've got in their hard drive already. So, but I'm finding out right now from Joe how long he thinks he can go. So,
I mean, I like working on these. I'm just not, especially with everything that's been going on. I've been moving all over, and then COVID before that, and yeah, so I feel kind of bad almost just because I'm not as prolific in terms of like getting things out as fast. So this is a year turnaround for each volume. So you think about 12 stories, you might have 6 stories a piece, but he's actually taken more than that each volume. If you've noticed, he's got usually one more than me just because I'm a little bit behind. But that was also when I was working full-time at my other job. So I don't know what it will look like, but yeah, I would like to keep doing that. Like the whole, I think the nephew uncle dynamic adds to the sort of coolness factor. But I totally would, if needed, take a break or something and whatever, maybe contribute like one story and if you had like more authors. But I think presently I could probably bang out another few. I've always got like ideas. I just in the past haven't had as much time to do them. But we'll
Yeah.
see. I'm stuck in the mountains right now for a whole year, so we'll we'll see how prolific I am.
Yeah, and I say one thing I like about, Joe and I specifically doing it too, besides, the family connection is, because technically I think because I sidestepped writing for books and short stories and novels for so many years doing the screenwriting stuff, I think technically Joe is more experienced writer than I am. But what I like is our stories come from such different places, even though we grew up in the same area. And so it's really cool that I don't feel the need, at least yet, to touch base and say, hey, I have a zombie story. Hey, I have, because even if he writes one himself, it's going to be so different from mine that we don't have to worry about repetition in the thing. So we just write so different. And including in this one, like, you can see his love of history, when you see that battle, which to me, the battle was the war that was displayed was more real, gritty, and scary than the supernatural element that kicks in by the end of that. And that story for me, I just thought the writing was terrific on that. I thought that was fantastic.
Thank you.
So yeah, but that's my thoughts on it.
Oh, real quick too. I don't know if he told you this or not, but we also had a Kickstarter recently where it was a post-apocalyptic anthology, and he kicked in a story for that as well, and that was a really good story. It really added a lot to the volume. It was a post-apocalypse kind of scenario, a shared world I came up with years ago, where each writer was given sort of the same world to play in, and could affect each other's characters on a minor level. But this one we kind of just like stretched out over like a period of time, like maybe a couple hundred years after the sun sent off these sort of solar flares and acted like EMPs and then burned everything up. So his story takes place like sort of in the far future. It's really cool. I enjoyed reading it.
That's so your guys' ideas are so cool, and like I said, I love that you guys introduce each story, and you give a little background with how you came up with each story, and like I said, it's such a refreshing concept, and I totally get where you're coming from, Paul. And I'm gonna throw this out there. So if you need someone to vet these people and be I'll be your PI to make sure they're sitting at the coffee shops writing. I will be your shadow people. I will be your shadow people.
Nice.
I will make sure. So if I don't know, Susie Jordan, I just randomly picked a name. If Susie Jordan says, hey, I want to write for you and I can totally do this, I'm going to go follow Susie Jordan, and I'm going to make sure she's sitting there at that coffee shop, and I'm going to make sure that she's writing her story. I'm going to be over her shoulder, and I'm going to watch her hit send to you. So I will be your personal
Nice.
You should do your first volume with like everyone having a selfie, like on a volume where we don't work together or something. Have them do a selfie at the coffee shop.
Yeah, we might take you up on that. Yeah, and just the other side note to the scary part is generally you would not sight unseen buy a story for an anthology. You would have submissions and purchase the best. So that's where the second level of trust comes in.
For
is
sure.
And I have that with with Joe. His stories are going to be there, so I'm cool. But with other people, they're getting one shot and they're writing something, and we have to take it. That's what we're hiring them for. So yeah. But thank you for the offer.
Yeah.
That's great.
I'll make sure Susie Jordy is right. So I'll have my beard too, so I'll make sure she doesn't know who I am.
Nice.
One of the Carros.
Yes. All right, on that note, guys, I would love if you could end the show with the tagline, go forth and be magical.
You want to start? Or?
Oh, all right. Yeah, you start, Joe.
All right, go
forth
and
be
magical.
Woohoo! I love it. Thank you so